All right, so we have to do a little bit of making up here. I was under the impression that the right stuff was gonna be handed out yesterday. It wasn't handed out, so on and so forth. So what I'll do is just pick up with today, with what we should have been doing yesterday. If I have a little time later in the period, I will go back and work a little on yesterday's sheet, or you know what, I think I'll even make one up and get it going. But before we do anything, let's go over the quiz. And as we work on this quiz, let's get this rocking out here. Let's see, I opened up the wrong one. Guys, why is there all the talking going on? Okay, so there's the right one that I wanted. That I don't want. Double B I do want. Okay. So, the first thing I want to talk about is the line that was graphed and what the correct equation of that line was. And the good news is that the vast majority of people got this right. So, I started here. And the question was, what is the correct equation of this line? And it looked to me like pretty much everybody knew that since we want the equation of a line, we have to use y equals mx plus b. What does m stand for? Slope. And what's b stand for? The y-intercept. So I look at this, and to me it's always really quick and easy to find the b first. Not that m is hard, I just think the b is really easy. As you look at the graph, what is the y-intercept? 4. Good. So I get y equals mx plus 4. Now m is the slope. What is the slope of this guy?
Down 2 over 1.
Down 2 over 1. And that word down indicates what do you need in the answer?
Negative sign.
Negative sign. Good. So it's y equals negative 2x plus 4. And that is my correct answer. Some people had y equals 2x plus 4. And some people had a half x. Or negative a half x. Just remember, since I'm going, this is always a positive slope, a negative slope, a zero slope. And since this is going down, it has to be negative, and it's going down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, so the slope is negative. Questions? Okay, so the next one says, what's the slope connecting these two lines? And this time I want to do it in the opposite order. Last time I used the formula first. This time I want to plot the points first. So we said one way to do a slope is to just plot the points. Here's negative 1, 1, and here is 2, 5. So now the question is, how do I move, hence the m for slope, from this point to this point? I'm going to go up 4 over 3. So it's 4/3. So that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is with the formula. Formula says y from second minus y from first over x from second minus x from first. First, second. What's the y from the second? I don't have your attention in the back. What is the y from the second point? Ethan, head in the game. Everybody, what's the y from the second point? Come on, talk.
5.
5. I want to hear everybody involved. Listen, if your brain is not engaged, you can't learn. You got to get yourself involved. And one great way to force yourself to be involved is to answer questions out loud. What's the y from the first point? 1. Good. What's the x from the second point?
2.
2. What's the x from the first point?
Negative 1.
Nice. Circle agregata. 5 minus 1 is? 4. 2 plus 1 is?
3.
3. And that, folks, is one of the things that I love about mathematics. In mathematics, no matter how you want to pursue the correct answer, you're going to arrive at it. Like, for instance, in politics, you can get some vicious knockdown, drag-em-out fights in politics. People will unfriend each other on Facebook over political issues. Yet, you can't come to any sense of agreement in politics. But in mathematics, at the end of the day, whether you want to use the formula approach or you want to draw the picture approach, it's always going to be reconciled. We're always going to come to the same answer either way. Okay, next. Which of the following points is on the line? If it's on the line, that means that it checks, and if it's not on the line, it does not check. So remember, any point is x, y. So I'm gonna put in a 2 for x and a 0 for y. So does 0 equal negative 2 times 2 plus 4? Well, what is negative 2 times positive 2? Come on, talk to me. Negative 2 times positive 2. Hey! Head in the game. What's negative 2 times positive 2? Negative 4. Plus 4. 4 plus 4 is 0, so therefore she's going to check. All the other three choices would not check. And I thought that as a whole we showed significant improvement on numbers 1, 2, and 3. I thought we looked pretty good. I did not think we looked good on number 4. Now, first thing it says here is write a function rule. It's not the first chronological, but first in importance. Write a function rule f of x. As soon as it tells me that, my answer has to say f of x equals. What did I just say? What did I just say?
F of x equals.
See, you're not learning right now because you're not engaged in what we're going over. People in the back, stop writing, stop talking, look up. Everybody, head in the game. When I read this question on Monday, yeah, blah, 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 each day, blah, 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 write a function rule f of x. That is the directions in the question. So I have to start with f of x equals. Now, I'll go back and worry about what it says here. It says it has 34 cookies in it, and each day, Mr. Lindquist eats cookies. So there's two ways that we could represent this. One way is that I start with 34 and I take 34 cookies away every day. So one way to write the function rule is f of x is 34 minus 4x. Another way to write the function rule is to think of it as this is a linear situation. It's linear because the rate of change is constant. Remember, rate of change is slope. What is the rate of change in this problem? What are the cookies changing by every single day? 4 cookies. Are they going up or are they going down? Down. So that's negative. So f of x equals negative 4x. Now, the y-intercept is always where you begin. How many cookies did you begin with?
34.
So plus 34. So I expected most people to write it like this, but if you wrote it like this, they're equal. See, the 34 is positive, here it's positive. The 4x is negative, here it's negative. So it's a little commutative property there, I'm just switching the order, but it works either way. Okay? Any questions on that? Okay, yes?
Can you write it y equals?
You know what, normally yes, except this one specifically says f of x. If it didn't specifically say this, y equals would be great. All right, so the next thing that we want to talk about today is this elimination method of solving simultaneous equations now. Let's get to one that'll serve to, like yesterday, if we had done the lesson together, what it would serve like. So here is a typical elimination problem. X plus y equals x minus y equals 5, 1. And you're asked to solve the system of equations. Now, let's talk about what's the same and what's different about this. First off, in the game data, first off, there's equal signs here, right? You don't have to take notes, just pay attention and watch. Okay, sit right. Now, as we look at this, there's equal signs, so God bless. So it's like an equation, agree? But this is a little different because how many equations are there? 2. We're used to only having one equation. So, what do I do next? Since I have 2 equations, the other thing that's weird, how many variables do I have? 2. I have an x and I also have a what? I should have said how many different variables, because there are 4 variables altogether. But if I said how many different variables, you would say 2 different variables, x and y. Now, what's pretty cool about this, what I notice, is do you see how the y's match up? And do you see how they have opposite signs? To me, that's really cool. Because watch what I can do. I can add up the two equations. What's 1x plus another x?
2x.
2 x's. What's a positive y plus a negative y? Nope.
0.
Nothing, 0, good.
Oh.
Equals, what's 5 plus 1?
6.
6. Now I divide by 2, just like any old equation. I get x is 3. Now, at this point, a lot of kids stop. And if it was an equation with a normal equation where we have like one variable, like if I did 3x plus 1 is 10, I would be done. The problem is this doesn't say 3x plus 1. It says x plus y. Did you tell me what y equals yet?
No.
No. So now what I have to do is go back and I can write either equation. I'm going to use the top one because everything's positive. And what I'm going to do is substitute the 3 in for x because that's what it equals. And I get 3 plus y equals 5 minus the 3, y equals 2. So my answer actually involves two parts. One part is for the answer to the x, the other part is for the answer to the y. Are we here to learn or are we here to like turn around and do whatever else? Because if you want to, you can. You're just not gonna learn. Okay, so we know that x is 3 and we know y is 2. I'm gonna leave this up here as a model question. Find some room somewhere on some piece of paper, I don't care where it is. And let's see you do this one. Ready? Okay, go ahead. Solve for A and B, yeah. 2a plus b is equal to 7, a minus b is equal to 2. Solve for both a and b. Okay, now, what's really cool here, and what, excited is a bit of a strong word, but as you look at this, you should say, oh man, I can do that, is the fact that these B's match, right? So I can just add them up. What's 2 A's plus another A?
3a.
3A, good. die, plus b minus b adds up to nothing, equals, what's 7 plus 2? 9, sweet. Divide by 3, a is 3. So how many people got that a is 3? Very good, just about the entire room. And I suspect that some of the people who didn't have their hands up, they just were late putting their hands up, that they actually got it right. But we can't stop here. And one of the biggest mistakes that kids make on these elimination problems is they stop here. See, the thing is, you have to also tell me what b equals. So, I can now use either equation, they both work, but I think like you, I think we tend to avoid the minus signs. Negative signs tend to mess things up. So I'm gonna stick with the first one, which says 2a plus b equals 7. Since a is 3, I plug it in here. So I get 2 times 3 plus b is 7. What's 2 times 3?
6.
6 plus b is 7. Minus 6. Die. B is 1. And that's my correct answer. Okay? Any questions on that? Okay. So now, without any further ado, let's get going to today's Do It. And as we look at this particular question, I want you to notice something. Look at the variables. Do they line up like the other ones we just did? Yeah, they do. So that makes me think I should use the elimination technique. Now, what would be really nice is if either the x's or the y have the same number of x's or y's, with one being negative. Does that happen? Yeah, look at the y's, right? Well, how many y's do I have in the upper equation? Positive 3. How many in the bottom equation? Negative 3y. So that's cool. I can just add them up. What's 1x plus 2x? 3x. Die. And what's negative 1 plus 7? 6. Divide by 3. X is 2. Am I done yet?
No.
No. Which equation am I better off using to go back and get y? Yeah, the first one, because the y's are positive. So, x plus 3y equals negative 1. 2 plus 3y is negative 1. Minus the 2. Die. 1 negative, 2 more negatives is 3 negatives. Divide by 3. Y is negative 1. So notice I have an x and a y in the problem, and I have an answer for an x and a y. So I am correct. I'm all done. Questions? Okay. Now we're going to change things off just a little bit and start to show you that we can play with these things. Take a look at the next one, and what do you notice? Got what? They're both positive. So if I added them, if I went to like 4a, then I would get plus 8b. And that wouldn't do me any good. Because the whole thing is, we call this the elimination technique. What do we call this again? Elimination. If it's elimination, that means we got to get rid of a variable. If I did it the way it looks, I would not be getting rid of anything. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to take, I can do it to either one. I'm going to take the top one and multiply everything by a negative 1. And let's see what happens. I think something pretty cool is going to happen. Ready? I have to distribute it to everything in the equation. What's a times negative 1? Negative a. What's 4b times negative 1? Negative 4b. And what is 7 times negative 1? Negative 7. Good. Now I'm just going to rewrite the bottom one. I didn't change that at all. Now what do you notice? Now you got the positive and the negative 4b. So now I can do it just like I did it in the other problems. Why don't you finish this one up now? Okay. Now, what's a negative a plus 3a's? How many a's? 2a, good. Ah, I love it. Die. They're matched up perfectly. Negative 4b and positive 4b add up to nothing. What's negative 7 plus 13? 6. Divide by 2. A is 3. Now, I can use either equation to start with to go back and find b. I'm going to do the top one. You could do the bottom. It makes no difference. It works out the same. Minus 3. Don't forget, I kind of sloughed over it, but the a gets substituted here for the a part. That's right there. Divide by 4. B is 1. So in this problem, a is 3, b is 1. Okay? Now, remember what was different about this problem versus all the other problems we did so far. In all the other problems, I already matched these guys up for you. In this problem, you saw correctly that if I did the 4 b's, I would get 8 b's, so you had to multiply by a negative 1. That was the only adjustment I made in that. Okay? All right. Now what do you see? Turn the page, guys. What do you notice? See anything different? Ishi, what do you see?
It doesn't have 2 in it.
Yeah, they don't match up, right? Look what would happen if I add them up now. I would get 7x plus 1y equals 9. Whoop-de-darn-do! They don't match up. I still get x's and y's in the same equation. I want one letter in an equation. I don't want two variables in one equation, because in that case, I can't find a single solution. There's more than one solution. So, how am I going to do this? Well, we're going to do a little bit of a trick. It's not even a trick. I don't want to call it a trick, because a trick makes it sound like it's magic. And it's not magic. It's logical. It makes perfect sense. Do you remember how back on the previous question, we said, oh, how could I get the 4 y's or 4 b's to match up? And we said, oh, I can multiply by a negative, right? And that matched them up? Wouldn't it be, this is slick. Watch this now. Watch this. You watching, Rachel? Watching? Wouldn't it be cool if I multiplied the bottom by 2? Wouldn't that be cool? If you look. Yeah, that'd be really cool, because then I get negative 2 y's. Let me ask you a question. Let's say, I know this isn't true, but let's say that Thomas is the same exact height as I am. Let's say we're both 110 inches or whatever. And then we double both of our heights. Are we still the same height? Yeah. Okay? If two things are equal and you double them both, then they're still going to be equal. Let's say that Thomas and Christian have the same amount of money in their wallets. And I, being the nicest guy in the world, BAM! Double the amount of money in each of their wallets. Are they still equal? Are they still equal? Of course they are. Because when you multiply equal things by the same number, everything stays equal. So I have two equal things here. I have a 3x minus y, and I have a 1, and they are equal. So I'm going to take and multiply the bottom one by a 2. And I picked that 2 specifically because it'll match up the y's here. So let's rewrite the top. I'm not changing that. 4x plus 2y equals 8. Go ahead. But now, when I distribute the 2 to everything, and you got to do it to everything. Sometimes kids forget the right-hand side of the equation here. You do it to everything, watch what happens. What's 2 times 3x? 6x. What's 2 times negative y? Negative 2y. And what's 2 times 1? 2. Now they're matched up, and I can do everything that I already know how to do. So why don't you guys solve from here? so, I add them up, what's 4x's plus 6x's?
10 X's.
10x's, good. Die, and what is 8 plus 2? 10. Divide by 10, x is 1. Am I done? No, what do I have to do now? Gotta go back and get y. Good, I can use either equation. Which one does it make the most sense to use? Top one. Why is the top one better?
You're adding.
It's actually something you don't have. Caitlin, what don't you have in the top one? All right, why would you say use the top one?
Oh, because like they're all positive.
Yeah, they're all positive, exactly. It doesn't have a negative. 4x plus 2y equals 8. Now we said x is 1, so I'm going to put it in. 4 times 1 plus 2y is 8. What's 4 times 1? 4. So 4 plus 2y is 8 minus the 4. Die. 2y is 4. Divide by 2. Y is 2. So x is 1 and y is 2. Okay? Questions? Preguntas. Okay. Now, I want you to work with someone, hopefully. I want you to work on this next one together. You're going to have to use both tricks. You're going to need a minus, and you're going to need a number to pair up one of the variables. Go ahead. In about another minute, I'll start putting the answer up on the board, but let's see how far you can get. Come on, hurry up. Come on, let's go. Got to get rid of one of those variables. If they both work, you can get rid of either one of them. It doesn't matter which one. Caitlin, it doesn't look like you're locked in here. Come on, work. I'm sorry? Am I staying after school? No, I am staying after school tomorrow. But not today. Girls volleyball game, I think? Oh, Friday. Okay, so listen, I'm gonna wanna get, I can get rid of either variable. I can multiply, hey, you're not looking. Look here. Still don't have you here. Stop moving. Chris, looking up here. Ladies? I can multiply the bottom one by -3, and that would match up the A's. But I'm going to choose to multiply the top one by -2 and match up the B's, because I think that's probably how most of you did it. So if I distribute the -2, I get -6A minus 2B equals -22, and then I get A plus 2B equals 2. Die. What's -6A's plus 1A? -5A. And then equals -22 plus 2 is -20. Divided by -5. Why are you not paying attention? A is 4. Now I have to go back and get B. I'll use the bottom equation. A plus 2B, that looks like a 9. A plus 2B is 2. 4 plus 2B is 2. Minus the 4. Careful here. -2. Okay, folks, one more day it is tomorrow. Hasta la vista, vaya con Dios, toodaloo, tata, arrivederci, smile a lot. Ciao, arrivederci, adios amigos y amigas. Hello, galushus. Jesus. Kudafis. Wiedersehen. Adios. Hasta la bye-bye.
I want to know what my average is for the class.
Why?
Because yesterday I went